somewhat backed away from that mandate, but that instrument is there, and it's a great way to meet many of these requirements. So what we've indicated is the mandate. We're going to have to work with all of our students through the course of these 4 years to ensure that they have some exposure to an apprenticeship, an internship, or externship. I've had conversation with Mr. Ewing at the high school as well about contacts he has out in the field to help our kids with apprenticeships. We've communicated with the Chamber of Commerce as well to utilize business persons throughout the city to ensure that our students have some type of workplace experience.
Yeah.
Is there an hour, like a requirement of a certain amount of hours?
No, you know, that's how the state operates. They've mandated this initiative, but how we go about meeting this requirement is up to us.
And maybe we should ask the mayor to initiate a summer program where our students can have internships over the summer.
That's
I
a
know
great idea.
They do that in DC, so it's something that we may want to have the mayor do as well, and for city government offices.
I think that's a great idea. Any other questions? Okay, thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. Okay, let me see if I can find my monthly financial report.
Good evening, Madam Chair, and all the other members of the board and superintendent. This month the report is just for 1 month of July, so it's very early in the year. It's only July activity. Not a lot of projecting you can do from here. In fact, it's hard to get the information in detail until we closed last year. We're still have June open from the prior year, and until that's closed and the auditors are in, it's difficult to pull a lot of detail. But I do want to refer to a few other things that are ongoing. Number one, we've completed all the audit schedules and exhibits that are required for the city audit. They should be in September to do their field work. We've also just today submitted the superintendent's annual school report to the Department of Ed for FY18. And then I'd like to give a quick update on what we call several things. It's the ERP, Tyler Munis. It's a conversion of software for our accounting package. Just to let you know where we are. We've kept up or been ahead of the curve on everything we've had to do up to this point. And in the first phase, we're really dealing with accounts payable only, some account code structure to get that set up. The go live date for accounts payable was to be October 1, but as a whole, that we've decided that, or the city's decided, and we've decided, I guess, as a team to push that back. Now, the date they're pushing back accounts payable is to December the 3rd. So this pushback on accounts payable may end up causing another future delay on the payroll and HR department, and we have a lot of training and implementation to go through for that phase of the conversion. It's a lot more detailed and complicated than accounts payable is. In concert with that, you're talking about the end of the year, which would be a nice cutoff point to transition the two payroll and HR packages. There's a possibility we may transition, say, in October of FY19, and that presents a little bit more difficulty because you're running two different systems and having to move the data from one system to the other at some point. So just a word of caution or warning to let you know what's happening and where we are. And again, this is not a real quick thing that happens. It's a 2 to 3 year at least phase in, and then converting over to the new system. Having said all that, some of the data in the old system will be very difficult to bring forward. And so our choice as a school division is to leave that in the old software in an archival form to look up if necessary, because bringing it forward will be so difficult. We've changed the entire structure of our accounts. And if you remember, I told you there would be sort of classes on explaining how the budget's going to look in the future and how the accounts look differently. So what I envision is a clean break. If you want to talk about the good old days or not so good old days, you're going to look at one set of lenses, sunglasses, whatever, and then the new system's completely different looking, and you'll talk about that moving forward, and that's kind of the attitude we're taking right now.
So, Mr. Baker, remind me of this transition. Is it year-end where reporting and all that would start, or new reporting or new styles or whatever would start at the beginning of a year, or are you doing it in between?
For accounts payable, ideally, you would cut off on June the 30th when our
Right.
year cuts off. Of course, for tax reasons and other reporting, you have to merge files for Social Security Administration, that kind of thing.
Right.
Accounts payable, with a go-live date of October, we would have been running on Bright, the current accounting package, until then, and then having to bring that data forward into the new software package. So now, instead of 3 months being brought forward, we're going to have 5 or 6. And then the same thing would happen with payroll. Ideally, you would stop one and start the other at the end of the school year. But if you push that back to October, now you're running 3 months on the old system and then bring that data over into the new system. So imagine all of the activity and the budget data having to go through a different size funnel to get to the other side. So you may have 10 accounts with budget and activity on the old system, and they may collapse down to 6 accounts, or they may expand to 14 accounts. So it's going to be a very involved process. So we're just going to have to adapt as we go along if they move the go-live date.
And they've already replaced Mr. Robinson, right? And
Yes, they
okay,
have a
and
new
so
director of finance.
The new director of finance, have you started working with him on this whole
It's
process?
a her,
It's a her.
but she,
Wonderful.
my comment to that is that she's taking over, we're crossing the creek midstream, and she's getting on the horse in midstream. And I think they're reevaluating some of the decisions that were made before they got into the stream.
Makes
And I don't fault anyone for that, or I don't offer any advice or criticism because I can only guess how difficult that must be.
Yeah, okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Anything? Thank you. Okay, so my screen just went blank again. Okay. Okay, the next item is the 2017-2018 School Health Advisory Board Report and Abstract. Okay? I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, get started, sorry.
Thank you. Madam Chair Kay, Dr. Melton, other school board members, and guests, I once again appreciate the opportunity to have served another year as chair of the City School Health Advisory Board, along with Pam Steinkening, who, as you know, recently retired. She and the entire advisory board have just been wonderful to work with, as they have been over the years. And I also thank Pam and Sue Keffer for helping to prepare this report for you tonight. For the past 3 years, the SHAB has been committed to the goal of raising community awareness related to issues that impact the city school students and its individual schools. We recognize that as good as our schools are, the staff members cannot address every need of every child without assistance from the families and the community. During the past year, were consistently 5 parents, 12 community representatives, 3 students, and 5 staff members engaged in the work of the division-wide SHAB to bring awareness of the community resources that can work with school staff members to benefit students at each school level. These community resources easily worked with the school-initiated International Baccalaureate and the Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports programs to offer additional value to the work of the schools. Further, the work of the SHAB standing committees, as well as the certain school correlate teams and the School Health Council, aim to weave the programs and services to create a model whole school, whole community, and whole child approach to shape healthy, active, and successful learners. To accomplish this, much of the effort of this year focused on parent and community engagement and supporting safe and healthy schools for the students as well as the staff members. Community resources from the Mental Health America of Fredericksburg, Global Wellness Solutions, Rappahannock Area Community Services Board, the Central Virginia Justice Initiative, and the city's police, fire departments, as well as the Parks and Recreation departments have been invaluable in keeping us informed of the worthwhile resources to share. The SHAB attempts to serve as a conduit for the school staff members and relevant community resources for dealing with student health and safety issues. We also want to be a mechanism for recognizing specific quality division-wide programs and initiatives, as well as those of individual schools, which you have seen in the report prepared for you. There are three that I want to really call attention to now, and one is the team of health and physical educators that worked during the summer to update the curriculum and to make sure that it was vertically aligned and to add the drug prevention program initiative. And this has been a desire of the SHAB for several years, and thank you for the people who made this happen. We really appreciate it. And the second thing I want to call attention to is to recognize the counselors, the social workers, the psychologists, the administrators, and other staff members who took time to go to staff development, took opportunity to go to staff development resources throughout the year. And because our kids really need the support of the mental, social, and emotional help. And I also specifically want to recognize Mr. Brian Kiernan and Jolene Jonas, who was substituting for Marjorie Tankersley on an issue that happened quite suddenly, for the wonderful presentation that they made at the National Committee on School Health and Safety. Their presentation was really excellent. What they talked about were the initiatives in the city school systems that are dealing with the school nutrition program and the physical activity issues. And a representative from the U.S. Department of Education talked with me later and in the day of the presentation, told me how wonderful she thought the presentation was. And she said that these are the types of programs that need to be in every school across the country. Of course, I was very proud to be a part of bringing them to that meeting. I've always known that Fredericksburg has model programs, and it's exciting to hear other people say it. And at this point, because there was so much in the report, anyway, I'm just going to stop and let you ask questions, and we have people from the schools here to answer any school-based questions that you have, and then I'll try to answer any questions about some of the initiatives and activities of the SHAB.
Do we have questions?
I just have a comment. I was really impressed by how the breadth of what you have accomplished this year.
It's everybody in this room.
Right, but collectively, I was really impressed by how much you guys have done.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you.
I was excited about, just reading through all of the different programs at all of the different schools, and it's hard to highlight just a few, but I'm super excited that we're continuing with the SOS program in 7th and 9th grade.
Right.
Yes. And I thought it was really smart of Hugh Mercer to use a pictograph survey
Yes.
for the second graders for where they felt safe or unsafe.
Uh,
That's
be-
really neat. Like, yeah, they can relate to it, and it's, it's important information for us to have, especially because October, we're gonna be talking about is anti-bullying month, and so that's important information for us to have in an innovative way. And I'm excited about the increase in recess time, both at Hugh Mercer and Lafayette.
So am I.
Yeah, I think the kids are really excited too.
Yes, yes,
I've heard nothing
absolutely.
but positive feedback about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
Okay, thank you.
Did we at least acknowledge Ms. Capper for working? Would you like to make any comments related to this?
Obviously, I just came forward, so I too was very impressed with what a large undertaking SHAB is. I'd like to thank Fran, of course, Pam, because I was not at all of those meetings last year, and so it was a learning experience for me, but I am very impressed with what they're doing and how it's related across the schools. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity
let's see next. Dr. Thomas, are we ready
Yes.
for the summer school?
Yes, I'd like to provide you with a really brief report on summer school this past summer session. We served approximately 488 students during the course of the summer. Students in grades 3 through 8 demonstrated growth as evidenced by the MAP assessment in reading and mathematics. We enlisted teaching assistants. Yet again, for the program, we employed roughly 20 of those students to help out with activity-based instruction. The Summer Success Skills program was offered 3 days a week, again, to provide workforce readiness skills at the middle school level and academic support. In terms of Summer Scholars, the Superintendent Summer Scholars program occurred during the course of 15 days over the summer. 110 students participated in Summer Scholars, and 48% of those students received a partial or full scholarship. And lastly, students experienced more than 20 interactive presentations, field trips, and enrichment outings. And with that, I'll take any questions.
I noticed the decrease in the number of kids doing summer scholars. Do you have any idea why that number's gone down so much?
I really don't. We've marketed the program. I mean, it's a deal. It's 15 days for $100. We haven't changed the tuition for it in quite some time, and half of the kids we've offered scholarships. Yeah, we're a bit puzzled by that. The program shifts from Hugh Mercer to Lafayette every 2 years, and but last year it was at Lafayette, so not quite certain about that. And the staff that we employ to work on the project, I make them aware of the numbers of prior year from the outset, and in the hopes of trying to increase enrollment. But they were very definitely cognizant of the number and worked diligently to put the information out to as many parents as possible. But yeah, the number is down some.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, maybe we could incentivize the community with a few extra snacks. We can, Mr. Baker and I could talk about that.
Great.
I apologize if you just covered this, because we had like technical difficulties and I was really trying to just get it back up. But the Summer School Success Skills Series?
Yes.
Did you talk about that?
Yes.
Okay, so who was involved in that?
So what we essentially do in that program is we, 3 days out of the week, students that we feel are critically at risk are required to participate in those programs an extra 2 hours each day. So the composition of the kids in summer school are, the majority of kids are recommended to come. Probably somewhere about a third of the kids are required to come. So the kids that comprise that 1/3 group are required to be there 2 out of the 3 days for additional support.
All grade levels?
These are students in grades 5 through 8
Okay,
only.
okay.
And then, so one of the days, the students, the recommended students participate as well in the activities. So we bring in speakers, we do small group counseling approaches, we enlist the help of teaching assistants to just make certain that the kids are aware of careers, are exposed to different career options, and that we work on various academic skills we have identified as deficit during the course of the school year. Okay, thank you.
Report on the opening of schools, Dr. Melton.
You may recall last year we had Mosley do a enrollment study for us, and they had projected that this fall we would enroll 3,559 students. We are about 65 students away from that number, and we anticipate that we will gain more students through the month of September, as we typically do. Right now, or as of today, Hugh Mercer has exceeded the projected enrollment by about 10 students. The projected enrollment was 888. We're at 895. Lafayette is at 818, the projected enrollment was 857. Walker Grant is at 749, the projected enrollment was 790. And James Monroe is right on target, the projected enrollment was 1031. And as of today, James Monroe reported 1,031 students. So it looks like that those projections are going to hold true. We have a very large kindergarten class, as we usually try to figure between 280 and 300. We're currently at 325 kindergarten students, and I don't know that there's any indication that those figures are going to go down at all. So we are doing the best we can. We've already hired, not in the budget, but we hired an additional kindergarten teacher. The issue that could present itself is if we have to hire another teacher, we don't have any place to put them. So we'd have to create classroom space, but we will keep you updated.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions for Dr. Melton? Okay, great, okay. The Virginia School Boards Association has announced 2 upcoming events: Bullying Prevention Month in October and Take Your Legislator to School Month in November. In an effort to promote awareness of school bullying, the VSBA Board of Directors has designated the month of October as VSBA Bullying Prevention Month. Childhood bullying is a significant problem nationwide. It can cause school absenteeism, mental and physical stress, poor school performance, poor self-esteem, and in some cases, school violence. Statistics show that 160,000 children in the United States miss school each day as a result of being bullied. School board members, superintendents, teachers, and parents play a critical role in creating a climate where bullying is not tolerated. It has been proven when adults and children stand together, bullying ends. Each of our schools has bullying prevention programs in place. An update on these programs will be provided for the board. The VSBA sponsors VSBA Take Your Legislator to School Month in November. In order to promote closer relationships between public education and the Virginia General Assembly, the Virginia School Boards Association urges every school division in the state to invite their state legislators to visit their schools during the month of November. There are many benefits from participating in VSBA Take Your Legislator to School Month, including strengthening ties between school divisions, local communities, and our elected officials, and creating opportunities for productive dialogue so that educational and political leaders can work together to ensure that we provide the best possible education for our students. Would the board like to discuss making any plans to invite legislators to visit? Also, are there any suggestions for what we should highlight for the legislators this year?
I think, in the past, we have invited all the legislators that serve this, Fredericksburg City, and I would suggest that we continue to do that. We've had good luck with that, and we've had quite a few legislators that have come to tour our schools, and we've been able to highlight some of our programs and some of our needs. So,
have you seen on the VSBA website, they have a link to some of the successes from other divisions? Have you seen that?
yeah, I was a little, yeah,
Did it include us?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I did. I was like,
Historically, how have we done this?
Debbie sends out invitations.
Okay.
Do we have to set a date for that? Is there a specific date?
Usually you give them a couple different dates, and then we see when we can get most people together, yes?
We start with just asking them for times in November, if we can pull it off to get that time frame in, just because that's when the VSBA has adjusted all of the legislative visits we held. Last year, we did have one, came out a little bit later than that.
Because elections hadn't happened.
Exactly.
Like, they were still up in the air, some of them, so, yeah.
Okay, so should we assign or ask a school board member to be the point in contact in terms of working with Debbie so that we're comfortable that we're all engaged and be responsible for the collaboration with that legislator?
I nominate Ms. Holmes.
I'm happy to do it.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Give us some ideas of what you would like highlighted this year.
Yeah, we do have some.
Okay. Guess we're under old business, am I correct? And the VSBA Legislative Advocacy Conference will be held on September 20th in Charlottesville. Ms. Holmes and Dr. Melton are registered to attend the conference. Is there anyone else who would like to attend? And if so, please let Ms. Wright know so that we can get you registered. The next is the VSBA Annual Convention will be held in Williamsburg on November 14th through 18th. All board members, Dr. Melton and Dr. Catlick, are planning to attend. Board members may wish to check the VSBA site for details concerning the convention. There is an early bird session on Wednesday morning beginning at 9:30 a.m. to be presented by Dr. Jeffrey Smith, Superintendent of Hampton City Public Schools. The topic will be a seamless transition from K-12 to high-skill, high-wage employment. Oh, we just had a presentation that is related. If anyone wishes to attend this early bird session, please let Ms. Wright know so that you can be registered. And also, as usual, the annual 5K Run Walk will be held on Thursday morning. The registration form for that event can be found online if board members wish to participate, and we always do at some
Yes, we do.
fashion. I agree, you know,
Wow.
I know.
We're
You know,
a budget
everyone, but you know, and everyone expects it now.
Maybe that could be like an internship. We could put some
Right.
high school students on
Just
creating
say, you
some.
can't run in flip-flops.
Well, that's what we're looking for.
Okay, new business. Under new business, we have the VSBA capital, excuse me, did anyone else have any old business? I'm moving right along. Okay, under new business, we have the VSBA Capital Conference to be held on January 14th, 2019, and the new chairman, board member, superintendent orientations to be held on January 15th, 2019. The VSBA noted on the 2019 calendar that the dates of these events had been changed.
Wanted to bring this to your attention now because you are scheduled to have your school board meeting on January 14th.
Oh. Who's attended the Capitol Conference? Oh,
Jen and I
yes.
usually go.
And Elizabeth
Yeah, I
Yeah.
usually go.
and Dr. Melton.
Where is the conference?
It's in Richmond, but if that's the first night, like usually you go one night and they give you all the information and then the next day you're visiting your legislators.
So we may want to change
January.
January's meeting.
We already couldn't do it the week before because that wouldn't give the staff enough time to
Right,
prepare, so we'd have to have a school board meeting.
that's why I was on the 14th.
Well, isn't that the next week, isn't that a holiday? Is that Martin Luther King?
Oh,
You could
Can we do a Tuesday?
Tuesday, that's what I was thinking.
do 15th, 16th, Wednesday.
Okay, either day.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, since board members may be meeting with legislators the morning of the 15th, would it be okay to have it that day to get back? My concern is we might have closed session that has to start early. There could possibly be a discipline committee. You never know.
You're usually done. The legislators don't usually want to see us past like 2:30,
Right.
right? I mean, that's not,
Yeah.
So
I
the
think that'd be
15th,
fine.
15th work then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Debbie, do they need to take action on that, or can they take action at the next board meeting to officially set that meeting for the 15th?
We can do it.
Yeah, so just so everybody agrees and gets it on the calendar now, we'll put it on the agenda for the October meeting.
Any other new business? Great, okay, we're at good of the order.
I had something for good of the order.
Great.
The Walker Grant staff worked over the holiday weekend, and I just wanted to say thank you to Mike George, Josh Long, Esther Taylor from the technology department, and then Justin Woodside, Stephen Ventura, Keisha Keels, and Kim Cunningham for working on the schedules for all of the incoming middle school students over the holiday weekend. They went above and beyond, and were working, you know, when most people were barbecuing and, you know, hanging out. I just appreciate that very much. And also to the Lafayette staff for dealing with the water main break on the second day.
Yes.
Everyone
Absolutely.
is, you know, stepping up. Just thanks.
All right, anything else?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In July, Publix grocery store invited us for their soft opening, and they presented Fredericksburg City Schools with a check, one of those big checks. It's kind of fun, for $2,500. And so we just wanted to say thank you for the check, and thank you for inviting us.
Great.
Go Publix.
And they
Anyone
also
else?
indicated they wanted to be involved in our
Yes.
PAs and all of that, so.
Okay, well, let's
Pass that
keep them
information.
involved. We have internship programs coming up and all
Right.
types.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Anything else? There being no further business to discuss at this regular meeting for September 10th, may I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
So moved by Ms. Ream and second by Ms. Holmes and Ms. Pomeroy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Board docs site down.
Oh,
I know, yeah, like it was just like,
It wasn't our internet.
like we had no board docs. It was just like nothing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Give good questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't